Alright, so the beginning problem, when I gave you the formulas, the sphere had a radius of 12. So if you plugged in, um, if you plugged in 12 for the surface area, you got 4 pi 12 squared. That would have given you 576 pi. And for the volume, you would have done 4/3 pi 12 cubed, which would have given you 2,304 pi. This is units cubed and this is units squared. Alright, so let's go ahead and go into the next one. It says the area of a sphere is 256 pi. Find the volume. So all we're dealing with is surface area and volume, and a lot of you asked what the area meant. So it's the area, the surface area. So I know that surface area is equal to 4 pi r squared. So I'm going to put 256 pi is equal to 4 pi r squared. So keep in mind that I'm wanting to find the volume, which is 4/3 pi r cubed. So what I don't know here is this value for r. So that's what I need to find out of the surface area. So I'm solving for r. So I'm going to divide out by 4 pi. So I'm trying to isolate the r, and I'm going to have to isolate it as r squared for right now. The pi and the 4 cancel out. The pi cancels out here. 256 divided by 4 is 64. And in order to get r by itself, you have to take the square root of both sides. Therefore, r is equal to 8. So now I can come over here, and I finally have a value for r, which is 8. Oops, this should be cubed. I know some of you would have caught that already. So this gives me 4/3 pi times 512. A lot of you tried to give me a decimal from here, but I'm not accepting rounded answers, and that's what it would have been. So what you would do is you would just multiply everything across. So 4 times pi times 512 will give you 2,048 pi, and then multiply across the bottom, which will give you 3. On the next problem, some of you, when we were doing this in class, some of you input a number and then you saw what happened. I'm not going to input a number. I'm going to show you how I would have done that without inputting a number. So surface area in general is 4 pi r squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the radius by 2. So then this gives me 4 pi. 2r squared means 2r times 2r, which gives me 4r squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 4 here and I'm going to pull it out in front, and it will give me 4 times 4 pi r squared. So keep in mind my original area was this, and now it is this. So it is 4 times as many as 4 times as many as the original, because this is the original that came here, and I have 4 of them. Okay, so this would be multiplied by 4. For volume, I'm going to kind of do the same thing. So 4 pi 2r, oops, 4/3 cubed, which would give me 4/3 pi 8r cubed. So this is 2r times 2r times 2r. So once again, I take the 8 out in front. It gives me 8. 4 times 3 pi r cubed. So this one is 8 because there's 8 of my original formula. Keep in mind when you're doing this that it doesn't matter for multiplication what order you multiply in or how you group things if all of it is multiplication. I think it's associative and commutative property. So the next one, a sphere with a radius of 5 inches is inscribed in a cylinder. Find the volume of the cylinder, and I want an exact answer. So the radius of this is 5. So the radius on this side is 5, 5, and 5. So that's what I know. And I'm going to do the volume of a cylinder, which is pi r squared h. So I'm always starting with that formula. So I do pi, my r value I've learned is 5 squared. And if I look at my height runs from here to here. And I know that it is 2 radii, so this is a height of 10. So this gives me pi times 25 times 10, which gives me 250 pi inches cubed. And this one should probably be unit cubed way back over here. If the radius of this inscribed sphere is r, find the volume of the cylinder in terms of r. So really what you're doing is you're looking back at the previous problem, and instead of actually 5 and 10, you're just going to use r. So I know that from here to here is r, and from here to here is r. So my new height from here to here is 2r. 5 is r, and 5 is r. So if this was 10, you added 5 and 5 to give you 10. So I add r and r to give me a height of 2r. So volume equals pi r squared h. Volume equals r squared. And I want it in terms of r. So my height is actually 2r. So when I simplify this into its terms, it should be pi times r times r times 2 times r. And you can redo the order as 2 times pi times r times r, which realistically is 2 pi r cubed unit cubed. All right. Hope that helps.